My name is Deb Rex. I am the Resident Engagement Manager. Resident Engagement Manager was evolved out of feedback. It's a position within the sales and marketing team, and it was evolved out of the feedback from residents, new residents moving in that had expressed that although everything was wonderful, once they moved in, they felt a bit overwhelmed with the size of Shell Point and with perhaps getting connected to the different areas of interest. I meet with the new residents prior to their move-in, and then I, at that point, obtain what their interests are. I learn a little bit about them so I can customize that experience that they have once they move in. I reach out to the different departments and make those connections so that as they move in, they don't feel overwhelmed with a new surrounding, new neighbors. That helps them to ease that bit of anxiety being in a new environment. Coming to Shell Point is a positive decision, it really is. But we all know that when you make a decision, even if it's a positive decision, when it's new, there's anxiety that develops. So I try to provide comfort, be that person that they can go to. There are so many different areas of Shell Point that they may feel overwhelmed by trying to reach out. So I am the point person. In sitting down with them the first time that I meet them, I gain what their preferences are. I also help make the connections that each resident should be making, for example, to the health center, to their case manager, to the different points of interest, to residents, so that the residents, I can make a connection between resident to resident. I had a resident that moved in from out of state, and he moved to be closer to his daughter. And he felt a bit overwhelmed by being in a new area. He also needed to reestablish all of his medical contacts, new neighbors. His daughter lived close by, but it was really important to have him start to develop relationships here on campus. So I made connections with him to the health center. I also got him connected with a resident that has a similar interest in bowling, and had that connection made so that he would have the opportunity to continue an activity that he did prior to moving to Shell Point. I got on the bus with him on the Blue Route, and we took a ride together so that he didn't feel overwhelmed. I stopped by periodically, even though he's been here for about 2 months now. I still pop by, and he will call me and we'll work through whatever is happening at that point so that he doesn't feel alone or that he feels like there's too much for him to be able to manage. I'm originally from Pennsylvania. I lived in Pennsylvania all of my life until about 6 years ago when moving to Naples. And I also had the privilege of working for a large health network back in Pennsylvania in trauma, palliative care. It was a university hospital, so I also had the opportunity of teaching and developing programs. I'm a social worker, so my background is a master's in social work. I had the opportunity to do case management in the field of trauma, also in the field of palliative care, both of which were newer programs that I was called upon in my almost 20 years there to help establish and develop. So coming here to Shell Point and starting a new program was an opportunity that I welcomed. There is a framework that I have developed and different touch points that each resident would be offered. And when I say a framework, that framework would mold to each resident, very much focused on being person-centered. My goal when I meet with a resident is to do a lot of listening. I want to learn about who they are so that I can connect them to the right areas and also to the programming that would best benefit them. For example, when you come onto the community, you are driving in your car and you're seeing the perimeter and you're overlooking buildings or between buildings. When a new resident comes on campus, or even prior to coming on campus, when I meet with them prior to the move-in, I offer them a personal golf cart tour. So I will pick them up and take them into what I call the inside of Shell Point, and to the areas that perhaps driving in your car or where you currently live, your current neighborhood, it's not totally visible. I make that visible for you. I also offer making the connections to those areas of interest, to residents. I spent the first few weeks when I arrived, it wasn't something that was tasked to me, but it was very visible and obvious to me that each neighborhood has a court representative. And I called each of those court representatives and set up a meeting and sat down with each of them to learn about the different neighborhoods and to start to establish a relationship. Their roles are very important here at Shell Point. My position isn't taking that role away. It's a collaboration as well as a collaboration with the different areas and different departments here on campus. I'm kind of pulling that all together and wrapping my arms around each resident. I hope, and our goal, Shell Point's goal, is that the resident will be able to breathe, relax. You're home now. That's what I say to many residents as they move in. The boxes will be there, but take the time to breathe. The decision is made. You're here. Now sit back and enjoy and let myself and my colleagues take the next steps with you. Don't sit and wonder about something that maybe is concerning you. Reach out. That's what we're here for. And I hope that that will then change perhaps some of the frustration that maybe comes along with, even though it's a positive move and a positive decision, something new and different and the unknown always causes a little bit of stress and anxiety. So I'm hoping that through this program, we hear from residents that what they thought was going to be difficult for them was not only not difficult, it was great. It was a great experience, and they can share that with their loved ones and maybe potential Shell Point residents. I am a new resource. It's important that the residents know that I'm available, not only the new residents, but also the residents in the community. If a resident in the community feels that there is a new resident that might be struggling in some way, please share that. Please reach out to me. I will then gently approach that new resident and make sure that they know that I'm here to help.